Welcome to the Veterans Growing America podcast. I'm here with my illustrious host, Donnell Johns, and we have an amazing guest today, Miss Yolanda Tate. She is the owner of Elevate to Wellness and the president of Blacks in Technology. Welcome to the show, young lady. How you doing?
I am doing fabulous, and I am so glad to be here with y'all, especially coming off of the heels of Father's Day. So happy Father's Day to both of you. Hopefully, you had a wonderful weekend.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank you.
yes,
Thank you so much. So let's get right into it.
yes. Let's jump into it.
The people want to know. They were calling me today. The people want to know. They said, Yolanda, share a little bit with us about your military background experience. The people want to know about that.
So let me tell you, I joined the military in 1989. It seemed like yesterday, but it's so long ago. 1989, I came in as a reservist and went to basic training. I was on that delayed entry program, went in the 11th grade, 12th grade, went to AIT, and then I decided, you know what, I like this thing called the Army, and I'm gonna go full time. And so when I first came in, I came in as a dental hygiene specialist, wound up changing my MOS into what was back then called a topo engineer, and so map maker for all those other people out there, but it's evolved throughout the years to be a geospatial engineer, more technical. But so went on active duty 1990, whole time from 90 to when I retired 2018. Always been in leadership positions, had some great assignments, did drill sergeant time, did all the whole stuff, airborne, aerosol, all that good stuff. You know what we do. Did all that great stuff in the military. And so had some great assignments. One of my best assignments, I'm gonna tell you my last two assignments. Well, my battalion time I did at Fort Carson and 4ID as a battalion sergeant major. And then for my brigade time, I did time as the garrison sergeant major of what is now Fort Liberty, what used to be Fort Bragg, from 2012 to 2015, which was a wonderful assignment. In my last assignment, I was the command sergeant major for the Pacific Ocean Division, United States Army Corps of Engineers, so responsible for all of the Pacific. So I say all that because of my time in the military, having all those leadership positions, to be able to mentor, to coach soldiers, civilians, to be around family members. It really propelled me and helped me for where I am now to transition out of the Army to be an entrepreneur, to be a tech professional, and to also be helping others when it comes to health and wellness. So
Hey, that's awesome. So, fun fact, I was in 82nd Sustainment from 2012 to 2015.
So, yes, I was your garrison sergeant major, and you probably didn't
Absolutely.
even know that. Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, I spent a lot of my time overseas, so yeah, don't fault me for that.
I'm trying to
That's
remember
amazing.
your command sergeant major. Oh my gosh, was one of my classmates. He went, me and him went to school together. Yeah, your
Small
sergeant
world.
major. Yeah,
Small
yeah.
world.
Uh-huh.
That's amazing.
Awesome, awesome. So, yeah, that's my military time, but I retired in 2018. Did 29 years. Everybody say, why you didn't go that 30? Well, things happen. And I just, it was the right time for me to leave at 29. And it was a good time for me to leave because I had a very seamless transition. And so, yeah, we can get into
So
that.
let me ask you, in those 29 years, what influenced you to really get into entrepreneurship?
So I've always let me say this. I'm born and raised in Philly. I've always been a hustler. So I'm gonna just
I'm a
say that
hustler,
I've always been on
baby.
my grind. Yes, I've always been on my grind. I've always had side hustles, even in the military, whether it was doing hair, whether it was speaking at different events, whether it was helping people out in nonprofit organizations. I've always been busy doing things, running kind of like my own business. And so I personally believe that each and every person not just have a side hustle, but you should have something that you call your own, that you can do, that you can leave some type of legacy or something back with your families that you've done. And if I can just be honest about it, I think that every Black person, every person of color should have some kind of opportunity where they get into entrepreneurship, because that's how we're going to close that wealth gap when we start to build businesses that we can give back to the community.
No, I love that. I really do, because I believe everybody needs to start their own business. But tell us what inspired you to start your own business. What was the inspiration behind Elevate to Wellness?
The inspiration between Elevate to Wellness is this, that wellness means freedom. A lot of times for people, they don't understand that when you think wellness, the first thing you think is physically. You think, okay, I need to lose weight. I need to be eating the right things. I need to be in the gym, all of these things. But that's just a small part of it. That's just what we see on the outside. When we're talking about wellness, we're talking about freedom mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, and all of these things interconnect with each other. And if we want to be successful in anything that we do, you first have to concentrate on your wellness. And so for me, when I wanted to start a business, I've always been coaching and mentoring people my whole entire life. Even when I was a little kid, I always tell this story. I was 10 years old and my grandmother passed away, and my grandmother was like the rock of our family. And all my aunts and my uncles, my mom, everybody, even at 10, everybody would come to me with their problems, because I would give them solutions. I would listen. I would hear what they're saying. I would be able to respond back to them. And so for me, wellness has always been like the core of my being as a human being. And so I wanted to find something that I'm passionate about, but also I know that I can get results from and help people get good outcomes. And so that's why I wanted to concentrate on a business that was around wellness. But my key thing is I'm all about wellness. I'm all about taking care of veterans. I'm all about entrepreneurship and tech. And so I try to incorporate all four of those things in everything that I do.
So tell us a little bit more about the business. What is your unique proposition?
So my unique proposition is this. So I call myself a mindset transformer. So I like to transform the mindsets, especially of veterans who are looking to get into tech or already serving in tech, by helping them to leverage and to lean into that military mindset that we all got in the military. Because a lot of times when we transition, we kind of forget about all of the great things that we learned in the military, and we need to leverage those things in order to go from unsure to unstoppable in a lucrative career, whether it's in tech, whether it's in wherever you want to go. But we need to be able to learn how to lean into that, and then also not just lean into it, but also understand, if you want to be successful, that it's not just being technically proficient. We know, again, it comes back to that wellness. It's about the whole total concept of that person. And so for me, I want to be able to help mainly veterans and women to be able to lean into the strengths that they have already, so that they can be more than successful, so they can thrive in wherever they're at.
No, I appreciate that. I definitely do. Life is like a heartbeat. There's ups and downs in that. No matter what you do, there's ups and there's downs. There's ups
Yeah.
and downs. So just thinking back to your transition from the military into the business world, what were some of those challenges that you faced, and how did you overcome that?
Okay, I'm gonna say this. A lot of people be like, ain't no such thing as imposter syndrome. Yes, it is. And many of us suffer from it, because for me, it was like, okay, 29 years in the military. I've been a leader. I've been all over the world. I done did all this stuff. But y'all all know when you take off that uniform, don't nobody care that you was a command sergeant major. Nobody care about none of all that stuff, especially when you're trying to get into the civilian world, start your own business, or even if you're trying to go into corporate America. And so for me, it was just like, um, first, I went into corporate America, let's be honest. I went into being a government contractor. And so when I first started my position in tech as a program manager, here I am with a bunch of younger people, younger than me, that's been in the tech industry for years. And I'm trying to figure out what they're doing. So a lot of times you are going to have that self-doubt because you're like, you feel like you're so behind or you don't know. But again, that's because you don't lean into the strengths that you already had. Because a lot of people in corporate America, a lot of people who are entrepreneurs that didn't have that military time, don't have those same soft skills and qualities that military members bring into any field that we go into. You have that leadership skill, you have the mentorship, the coaching, you have the team building. Because a lot of times when you go into these job markets or you go into be an entrepreneur, a lot of people fail because they try to do things all by themselves instead of building a strong team behind them and have that support. And you also have to know as a leader that you got to be able to follow as well. You got to understand that you need people on your team, those who's. A lot of times I'll be like, you don't need to know how, you need to know a who. You need to know who are those people that can do those things that you can't do, to have them on your team that you can trust, that you can build strong relationships with, so they can help you to grow and scale together. So I
No,
know I
that's
said a
good. And
lot right there.
nah, you've been on here dropping nuggets, and I love it. And then my favorite part about just having a guest like you who does drop nuggets, can you give me like a a like a key lesson that you've learned in the military that helped transition your business? So something that you've done in the military that you use in your business now.
I would say on that was, this is something I had to learn in the military, and I learned it later on, was to be vulnerable and to ask for help. Because in the beginning of my military career, I was always the only female. Most times I was only the only black female. And so I would go the long way around things to get the answer because I didn't want to ask anybody to make myself look like I didn't know. But it's
Mhm.
okay if you don't know something. Instead of going that long way, I could have been had something done with just asking and being vulnerable. And so going into entrepreneurship again, it's like knowing you don't have to know everything and it's okay. Find out what you are strong at and then find those people, those who's that can help you with those areas where you need to grow, where you can get those opportunities. We all know about having a SWOT analysis and all that good stuff. If you want to find opportunities, you have to have the right people on your team that can be able to get those things for you. And so, yeah, I would say being vulnerable and to know that it's okay not to know something.
That you keep hitting me with all of this stuff that I just want to. I've been writing down all kind of stuff, so I may go back into something. But let's talk about the future plans, your goals for staying in business. What are your goals within the next 2 to 3 years?
So my next 2 to 3 years is this. When it comes to tech and veterans and wellness, I want to start building curriculum and training that we can put into place within businesses, within nonprofits as well, even with my nonprofit that I work for, Blacks in Technology, to be able to help more veterans transition into tech or into STEM related industries. And the reason why I bring this up is because we sleep on all the opportunities that's out there when it comes to tech in STEM. And when I say in tech, I'm not just talking about that you need to know how to code. There are a lot of opportunities out there besides being a software developer or engineer. You can go into the selling part of it. You can go into the business part of it, being a program manager, going into agile, going into cloud, going into cybersecurity. I could go on, AI, metaverse. It's so many opportunities. And I think that we need to provide these opportunities to our veterans so that they understand that when you transition out the military, there are other things that you can do. And starting businesses around tech is definitely the way to go, because tech isn't going anywhere. I don't care how much people say that they're afraid of it, they don't want to have anything to do with it. It is here to stay. And people say they're scared of AI. Yeah, some things that we got to do to protect ourselves around it. But we've had AI for a long time. It's just expanded now. I mean, everybody has a smartphone, everybody has computers. We've been using AI for the longest time. It's just now it's going to evolve, and we need to jump on it. It's still relatively young, and people don't understand that we can build some businesses where we can actually get some wealth in our community and build up from it. So for me, in the 2 to 3 years, I want to build curriculum around some training programs, starting in the schools, especially because we want to make sure that our kids are exposed to more STEM opportunities, because a lot of them, they don't think it's sexy or fun to be doing tech or science or anything like that. It's still a lot of kids that only want to do like sports, music. Arts is an important part of it, but we got to be able to teach them that you can still be creative and still be in tech at the same time. Another big thing for kids is like esports, e-gaming. It's a whole big career field around that now that we can get more people exposed to in the right way. So for me, I want to concentrate on getting our veterans to transition into more opportunities around tech.
And
No,
so,
that's really good. So let me ask you this though. So I serve as, so I'm actually 36 Bravo finance tech, but I currently serve as a functional tester for a program. I think functional testing is one of those underrated things as well, because you don't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily have to know code to be into
Yep.
technology, and it was something that I learned right when I got the job, right? So let me ask you, for people who may be middle age or not as familiar with technology, what's a good starting point for them?
So let me tell you my story real quick, how I wound up getting into tech, because this is the whole thing. So when I retired in 2018, I came back to the DMV area here in Northern Virginia, and we all know that this is the mecca for government work. And so when I got back here, of course, had a top secret clearance, and so we all see these top secret clearance events that you can go to, hiring events. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to go to one of these events. I know it's all about tech. I'm a geospatial engineer, which is technical. However, I ain't did none of that whole time I was in the military, since I was a sergeant. So it was like 15 years removed from all that. And so I said, you know what? I'm gonna go to a hiring event. So I go to a cleared hiring event, and I talked to all the companies was there, all the big ones, Booz Allen, Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, all the big tech companies was there. And then there were some smaller startups that were there. And so I went and talked to the startups, and I got 3 callbacks. And when I talked to them, the way that I presented myself, first of all, you got to be confident in yourself. No matter what. I don't care if you don't know something technically. If you are confident in yourself and your abilities and what you can bring, people will see that. So having courage, being confident, and going in and showing them and speaking with clarity. So the first thing that I said is that I am not a tech, I do not have a technical background, but what I do have is 29 years of military experience and those soft skills that I know how to take care of and manage people, systems, and processes. And, a lot of times when you talk to organizations like that, that's where they lack. they have technical people, but they don't have people that know how to manage processes, systems in their people. And so that's how I market myself as a leader. And that's how I got callbacks from 3 organizations. And this was what the funny thing was. You know, when you get out the military, yeah, we go through all the training to help us once we get out the transition, soldier for life, all that good stuff. But I didn't know how to negotiate my salary. I really didn't understand that. And so I'm thinking, I'm big time saying, I'm just going to ask for 6 figures right off the bat. So the second company that I talked to, they were really excited about getting me, and I really liked what they were doing. Their employees were about 45% veterans. So I was like, yes, I'm gonna go ahead and do this one. And so when I applied for the job, it was a user, the job title was called User Engagement Success. So all that was is that I go to the client, I talk to them and see what are their technical issues, their problems, bring it back to our engineering team so we can come up with a technical solution to solve their processes, their systems, so that they can be more efficient in the way that they do their work. And so now they call it a customer success rep. And so in that, I said I wanted to get 125,000. That was my starting point. So I said, I'm gonna go 125. And I'm thinking that's at the top end. And so as soon as I said that, they said, okay. They didn't blink, they didn't nothing. They just said, okay. I was like, oh my goodness, I just shot myself in the foot because I could have asked for more, but I didn't know. And they were a small startup that had a major contract, and I didn't know that as well. So they had the money to give me. And so that was a mistake. So I tell everybody, don't sell yourself short at all, especially if you are somebody that has over 20 years in the military, you've been in these leadership positions, you know how to manage people, systems, and processes. Do not go in there talking about that you don't know what to do. You got to be confident in yourself and your abilities and everything that you learned while you served in the military. And so use that to your advantage.
That was fire. That was fire. I appreciate that answer, and I appreciate because funny part is I actually did some technology. I worked in technology for about a year, and I was working with ServiceNow on,
Hmm.
and I was matching systems with the Army with the current systems that they have now. So I was working in technology for a bit. And so I really, really appreciate that. And I had no idea what ServiceNow was or any of these
Yep.
systems, but I did know how to, manage people, systems, and processes, which got me through it,
Hmm.
which was amazing. So let's just talk a little bit about VGA and why people should be involved with VGA.
So let me tell you, when I first met Donnell, I was like amazed by what VGA is doing. And so, as an entrepreneur, let me say this as an entrepreneur, you should stick when people say find your niche, that is important. But sometimes, as long as you're doing things that stay around the same niche that you have, then it's okay. And so, being in wellness, I had some wellness products. I had some things that I was selling, some journals, some books, things of that nature to uplift people when it comes to their wellness journey. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and be a vendor at VGA. And I can tell you, it was one of the best decisions that I ever made in my entrepreneurship journey. Because I tell you, this is one of the most, and I'm not just saying it because I'm here now on their podcast. I'm really saying it because it's like a family. When you go to their location, everybody works together. Everybody is supportive of being a veteran, whether you're a veteran, you're a spouse, family member, it does not matter. It's a family. And you can see that they are passionate about what they're doing to help veterans. And that's why I was drawn to Veterans Grow America. And Donnell can tell you everywhere I go, I'm always talking about VGA. Even with Blacks in Technology, no matter what, I'm talking about veterans, I'm talking about VGA, I'm talking about all the great things that this organization is doing because, again, we need to have more entrepreneurs in our communities so that we can build and really close that wealth gap that's out here. And the way to do that is through entrepreneurship.
Absolutely. No, we appreciate that. And so I'm gonna pass the last question on to my co-host, Rob. Let's close it out, brother.
All right. Hey, so Miss Yolanda, I just want to know where everybody can reach you at, your socials, your LinkedIn. Let me know where they can find you.
So you can find me on all social media at Yolanda M. Tate 123. That's everywhere. LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Now I'm be honest, I'm not on Facebook as much as I need to be. But LinkedIn and Instagram, definitely you can find me there. My website is elevate2wellness.com. Also, find out information about Blacks in Technology. Yes, it's Blacks in Technology, but we supportive of anybody who wants to come into the organization. You can check out blacksinTechnology.org. It is a free membership. We have a lot of great resources to help people to get certifications in different areas within tech. There are over 85 chapters across the United States and 5 countries. I am the second chapter. We have our third chapter that's launching this week in Alexandria, and then we have South Hampton Roads launching later on this year. But yeah, check Blacks in Technology out as well, because there are a lot of opportunities out there in tech.
That's super dope. Hey, Donnell, where how
Yeah.
can people support?
He might be on mute.
No, I would. So the way that you guys can get involved with Veterans Growing America is 3 ways. Number one, you can become a member of our organization. You can find that information on our website at veteransgrowingamerica.com. You could also donate to our nonprofit. That information is also found on our website. And you could be a vendor. All of that information can be found on our website. And you can find us on social media at Veterans Growing America everywhere. And the one thing that they have to do if they come in and they're not a vendor, all they got to do is shop, baby. They just got to get their shop on, baby.
Baby.
Oh,
Miss Yolanda.
yes, I love it. I love it. Hold up, Donnell. You got to talk now. Now I'm gonna ask you. You got to talk about all the other great things that y'all be doing at VGA. You got the comedy show. You got the connect. You got so many things that's going on. You better sell yourself.
Okay, so now that Yolanda brought that out, if y'all within the sound of my voice, go to our website and you'll find out all the amazing things that we do. We do a comedy show because comedy is a business. We do networking because within networking, that helps you with your net worth. If you know people, they can open doors for you. We do open mic nights every Friday because music and poetry is a business. We also do line dancing. Guess what? Dancing is a business. Everything that we do, we focus on entrepreneurship and business. And it may not seem like a business until you really think about it. And all of the things that I talked about are some of the highest paid industries in the United States. Music is a business. Poetry is a business. Singing is a business. All of these, speaking is a business. And so if that is being done, we do it in business at VGA, and we're connecting our community with business, education, and employment resources, because employment is a business. To be employed, all of those things are what businesses need, and we're trying to connect our community with all of those resources, and most importantly, each other. Because when we leave the military, instead of disconnecting, we need to reconnect and grow and thrive. Let's grow.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
grow. Let's grow.
yes. Promote
Yolanda,
yourself.
And then also like and subscribe.
we truly. Oh yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow. And shop,
Yes.
baby.
And shop, baby.
Miss Yolanda, we want to thank you so much for joining the show. We truly appreciate you and in your support for VGA.
Thank you. I thank you for supporting me as well in everything that I do. So I am so thankful for this and this opportunity. Yes.
Thank you. We're over